Hello and welcome to
Welcome to
Gamer
Gamer
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Will you stop it?
No.
Stop interrupting me.
What are you talking about? This is the first time.
No, it's not. We had to redo this because you failed.
No, I didn't fail. My computer failed.
Anyway, this is Gamer Bullshit. We're a podcast where we talk about gaming and other nonsense you don't care about. Probably don't care about. Whatever. Yoda. Anyway.
But it's whatever,
I'm Austin, and with me as always is Jacob.
Wait, who's Jacob?
It's supposed to be you, but I don't think you're the real Jacob.
Oh.
I think you're an imposter.
Oh my god.
I actually think you're a conehead.
It pleases the soul. Yes. Eldar is pleased.
Okay, so I got two topics today that I thought we could discuss because I just thought they were interesting and that we could have a good discussion about them. So the first one I wanted to go with was with always online games. Like not really the pros and the cons of them, but understanding them and where they should be used. Because I don't think everything should be always online. Always online games can be good, especially with MMOs, because they need that. They're a living, breathing game and have their own ecosystem and market and everything, So it needs that. I get that. It's a living, breathing ecosystem. But then when it comes to games like a racing game, like the new Need for Speed that's coming out this year, it's going to be an always online game. And to me, I don't understand that because it's a racing game. I feel like people should be able to play it offline. I know the crew did it always online, but I don't really hear a lot of people talking about the crew.
Because it sucks.
And I don't know how well or bad it did. I only know one person on my friends list who plays it. So it's and I feel like that game, I was interested in that game when I first heard about it and then when they said it was always online, I just dropped it because I didn't see the point. I really didn't see the point of a racing game being an always online game. So, I think...
Hey, I can actually maybe explain that.
Okay, well, let me finish my thought.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think always online games, not everything should try to do an always online system or whatever. I think it needs to be solely used for certain genres, and that's about it. Because it just does not work with a racing game. Really, come on, it blows my mind. And to me, sometimes when they do that, I view it as another way for them to use DRM against consumers. Not saying that's what it is, but sometimes it makes me feel that way.
Okay.
But what were you going to say?
Oh, well, I mean, before we had to cut the first cut of the podcast short because of my dumb CPU, I had actually got to think about the race car thing, why it might always be online. Now, it's kind of stupid that it's always online, but it could be a similar deal with GTA where it's you're driving a car and it's you could be going somewhere and you see all these cars and stuff. It's ooh, I want to see what these guys are doing. Oh, you want to race? Oh, let's race. Oh, you want to drag race? Let's drag race. Oh, you want to go bust beat the cops up or something, let's do that. I could actually understand that in a racing game. That's actually kind of gives it a little bit of extra depth instead of just, oh, you gotta go to the paint shop to get your car painted up. Oh, you gotta go outrun the cops. Oh, I'm actually interacting with other players. But when it comes to always online, I'll say it again in probably almost the same fashion as I said the first time. I think it's stupid to always have always online games no matter what. I understand that there are games that you always have to be online for it to be a living ecosystem, as you say, where it's always thriving, it's always going, it's never stopping. However, people like us, we live in rural area. For people who don't know, we live in northern Kentucky. That's about as close as I'll say where we live. But we live in a very rural part of northern Kentucky. Northern Kentucky. Kentucky, and and my internet is somewhat okay, and there's places that you can get great internet here and everything. But Austin actually happens to live out a little bit further in the boonies than I do, and he doesn't even get megabytes; he gets kilobytes. It's god awful.
It's the worst thing. I'm just a step above. I have DSL. It's not broadband. Yes, it's DSL, so it's through the phone line. But I am just a step above dial-up. It's that bad.
Yeah.
Let's just say next gen gaming just does not work at my house. Like the size of these updates and the size of these games, I don't even download them at my house. I go to other people's houses with better internet and download it because I can't handle waiting or accept leaving my PS4 sitting for 12 or more hours,
Right.
just downloading something. Like, really? That's ridiculous. And I'm fed up with it. Like, I want better internet, but the internet service provider is obviously not going to improve the internet here because it's not a viable place for them to invest more money into this area since there's not a lot of business or things going on.
Exactly.
And that's what sucks.
And that leads me to it. It's like not everybody has the option of getting, like even like I think my top speed here is like 3 or 4 megabytes per second, which compared to a lot of people, it's really slow, but it's fast enough where I can browse videos, I could play video games online without having any kind of problems, and I could download games if I want to at an all right speed. Like if I were to download it overnight, it'd probably be done overnight, and that's fine with me. It works for me. Of course, I wish I had a little bit of faster internet, but that's beside the point. But there's people who can't get fast internet. There's people who can't afford internet. It's like, I understand internet is a big part of life now, but just because your phone has internet access does not mean you have actual internet access at your house. And why should you need internet to play a game? Like, what if your internet goes down? How are you going to play a game that you paid money for? Why can't there be an offline mode, kind of like with Diablo a little bit, where you interact with NPCs and stuff, and where you can still get almost the same experience, only you're just not playing with players. Like, I don't understand that. Like, that's probably my biggest complaint about always online, and it drives me up a wall because, why? Because internet is, like, everything's expensive nowadays. It's like you have to pay $400 or $500 for a console. You have to pay like $60 for a brand new spanking game. You have to pay like maybe $30, $40, $50 for internet a month. All this other stuff. And it's like, why do I have to have internet to play a video game, which I've already paid money for to play?
Yeah. And I know everyone's argument, and I agree with this. Most consoles are connected to the internet. I understand that, but like you brought up the best point, especially in an area like ours. What if the internet goes down? What if we don't have any internet? Or what if you just can't get it and you want to be able to like play the games that your friends are playing? Like, you can't. You're shit out of luck. And that's what sucks. Because even though, like, okay, I'm just going to throw out a percentage. It's not the exact percentage, but 95% of consoles are, yes, always connected to the internet. My internet goes out all the time because, like, if we get bad weather, since it's using the phone lines, it acts up. It'll either go down or it will be extremely slow. I can't do anything about that. I can't. And so...
I'm so glad that I don't use my phone lines anymore.
Yeah, and then there's countries out there who don't... They either don't have internet, but the consoles are being sold in those markets, or they have even worse internet than we do. How are they playing these next-gen consoles? You know what I mean?
Right. How is this fair to everyone?
It's not.
Like, I thought all gamers are supposed... Exactly. Like, it's stupid to me. It's like, wasn't it, I know this is like another topic, but when the Xbox One announced like its different policies at first, didn't like the CEO of Microsoft at the time say something like along the lines of, like he practically bashed people for...
If you don't like that our next console is going to be always online, well, guess what? You're shit out of luck. Stick with your Xbox 360.
Like, whoa.
That's how it came off as. That's basically what he said.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Mom, I'll be up in a little bit. Thank you. Live podcast.
Hi, Mom.
Austin says hi. I'll probably be up in like 30 or 40 minutes. Okay.
And you just heard it, people. Mom rules over everything.
That's right. Dinner. But, it's stupid. It's, it doesn't make any sense why, I'm pretty sure he's not the CEO anymore, which is good. But I don't understand how people could have that kind of mindset when the people that buy the stuff is the reason why you even have a job, Mm-hmm. And it's like, to comment a Francis video, Boogie2988, he made a game, he made a video where his Francis, he's like, You mean you tell me my Xbox One needs internet connection? My PS3 doesn't need internet connection to play games. My PS4 doesn't need internet connection to play games. My Nintendo 3DS doesn't need internet to play games. My phone doesn't need internet to play games. My TV doesn't need to play games. My laptop doesn't need to play games. My Game Boy Color doesn't need to get... He goes on a tirade. This Wii, his Xbox 360, his PS3, everything. He's like, why the heck does my Xbox One need internet access?
I have to find that video because that's hilarious.
It is hilarious, and it makes so much sense.
And that's our next topic is the problem with the original Xbox One policy about being always online. Like, I understand they had this vision that they wanted to make this whole ecosystem that you could let your friends borrow your games technically digitally, and like you could install the games on your Xbox and then not have to worry about discs anymore with all this DRM crap like Steam.
Yes.
But it always was an online console, and it said it needed a 24-hour check-in, meaning every day it had to be checked in that it had internet. But
dumb.
That, like, okay, I would see maybe like a week. Like, how can you not go somewhere in a week to get some type of internet? But, like, every day? Like I said, like our area. I know people in the city. It's rare for your internet it may act up, but it doesn't go down unless the power grid goes down. But, like, in our area, it just doesn't work. And the whole, like you said, the CEO is saying, suck it up and stick with your Xbox 360. That just screwed you in every single market of, like, the world that you sell your next console in. Like, America's internet is behind Japan's, yes, but the rest of the world, I'm pretty sure, has just as crappy or worse internet than we do.
Ruben has fiber optics, remember?
No, does he?
Well, it's that one stuff, like the Google thing or whatever.
No, I'm talking outside of the country.
He is outside the country.
I don't remember.
Ruben?
No, Ruben's in America.
What? I thought he lived in Spain.
No.
What?
No.
Oh my God, my life is a lie.
Yeah. He doesn't live in Spain. No, he's from America, and he lives in the United States of America.
Why is he talk? Why is it so hard to understand him?
You're talking about Sugan.
Oh, Sugan. What, Ruben? Who am I talking about then?
Yeah, Sugan. No, I don't know if he has fiber optics or not where he lives. I do know that his internet isn't that great.
I thought he said his internet was good.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
you're confusing everything with everyone.
Where do I work at again?
You're done. You're just done. You know what? This podcast is over. We're just done.
I blame... I just...
Oh, gosh. We just lost it.
No, I've been up since 4:30 in the morning, man. Give me some...
4:30 in the morning.
Austin?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I
know.
understand. I would do the exact same thing. I've been up since 4:30 in the morning. Fuck you. That's how I'd be.
You know I could still drive down to your house and kick the crap out of you, right?
No, you can't. You can't drive. Remember? You don't remember anything.
Who are you?
Yeah. I'm Austin. This is the podcast that you co-host with me.
What's called a podcast?
Well, a podcast is...
All right, back on the Xbox.
But yeah, like the problem with the Xbox One policy was just like always on the 24-hour check-in, the always online feature, and that just screws so many individuals over, and it really lessens the people you can get your console to and play games on and everything. Yeah. And I just don't understand why they thought that was a good idea in the first place.
I like some of the ideas that they had. Like, I like the digital thing. I do believe in, a digital thing. However, I feel like it would have to be almost kind of like a storage online where your Xbox Live membership would include, free, unlimited, I guess, memory or something, even though the servers would have to be crazy, massive, huge. And while I do like the idea of a digital thing where you don't have to put in a disc, I, at the same time, like having a physical copy of the disc and a case and everything. However, if they, came with a case and, a digital download code, inside the case, I guess that would be an alright substitute. However, when they were talking about how you wouldn't be able to sell the games like GameStop or anything like that, it would have, its own specific code and everything where, they would have to, deleted or something like it just wouldn't work. Like I thought
they were trying to get rid of the whole third party like GameStop
that's
trade-ins and selling used video games. They were trying to get rid of that, which in a way, yeah, I know that type of stuff pisses off game developers and, game publishers. But
that's how people can afford games half the time. It's like they can't. A lot of people
yeah,
can't buy games brand new. They have to wait for it to be out for a while and pre-used for it to go down maybe from like what it would be like maybe in the store like $50
when you do something
to
like
like
that,
30,
you
20.
limit the market again. You limit the and the problem with the third party game seller like that, like GameStop, is that the game developers and publishers don't see that money because it's used. They've already gotten the money once; they can't get it twice.
Well, I'm glad for that.
I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm sorry, life isn't fair. Fuck you. You have all of this money.
Right, exactly. It's like you made the game, but it's not my fault that someone wanted, or like you couldn't even they weren't even gonna let you borrow someone's game. Like they might let you borrow, like one or two people borrow it, like it have like you'd be able to share it with them.
Actually,
like
no. You could share it up, I think, to 10 friends. Or
well,
something
still though,
like that. And I don't know if that was at once or if like that was just forever. But I feel like there was something like you could share it with up to 10 friends, I think. And it could have been at once, but I'm not for sure. But like all they had to do was you'd have to share them
I
like
still
a
think
code,
that's jank.
and then they could download it and play it. But I also think you could still have it on your console at the same time.
Right, like I don't know. I just think that was kind of jank because it's like a lot of games that I played, like especially in high school, because I didn't get to have like I did have a lot of games in high school, but that was like through birthdays, Christmas, and stuff like that. Like I didn't really have any money to actually go out and buy games because I didn't have a job. I was too busy with school stuff. I was a nerd, whatever. But like I borrowed games from people, and that's how I played games. And it was like, oh, that game was awesome. And then eventually I would go down the road and buy it, or trade something in and buy it, or get it for my birthday, or But I don't know. I feel like borrowing and like the third party of like selling of third party games and stuff. I feel like that actually creates a door for the developers to actually get their game out to people who might not necessarily have been able to get it before, whether through price or situations or stuff like that. And I just think that like that was the money talking, and it's like they don't think about that kind of stuff because they've already got the money. They just want your money, and it's like, no, you don't understand. You could say you understand, but unless you have been poor up until like the last week, you don't understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you heard it from Jacob. You don't understand.
You don't understand.
I'm Batman.
I'm not Batman. I'm Jacob. Batman cleans my toilets.
Oh, so Batman's your bitch?
Yes.
Awesome. I think I just found the name of the episode now. It's gonna be called Batman, Jacob's little bitch.
I like it.
Or it's gonna be Batman, Jacob's little toilet bitch.
Ooh, I like that even better. It's dirty and it's funny. It's dirty and funny. I like it. Get it dirty because it curses, but yet it also deals with the toilet, which feces and pee and.
Well,
yeah.
we're an explicit podcast. It says it on iTunes, so if you don't read, then that's your problem and your fault.
Exactly. But I mean, to get back on the thing, like, what are your like? I definitely thought they had good ideas. It's like like I like the idea of an all digital thing, but I think the way they went about it and everything, and all these different like mandatory policies and everything, it's like what, or even like after all the backlash, you're like, okay, you won't have to worry about doing the daily check-in. You'll just have to get an update. Well, like, what if you still don't have internet? Does that mean you still can't play the Xbox One?
Yeah, like, I mean, thank you. Sorry, I was talking to my girlfriend.
Hi, Shelby. Shelby, say hi. There she is.
But
she's just gonna speak.
The thing is I agree with you. They had some neat and cool ideas and features that were going to be on the Xbox One, but they went about it the wrong way with basically saying, this is how it's going to be and you're going to deal with it. Like, that's the whole vibe they gave off. And
exactly.
The always online 24-hour check-in was that was a problem. If they could figure out another way to do it other than 24-hour check-in, then maybe more people would have been accepting of it. But that really just set it off.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
And then there's people now who are like they should have just not listened to people and done it because that idea, like the initial idea was great and they should have just kept it because it would have made gaming go forward. But I don't know if it necessarily would have made gaming go forward because I believe that put more powers in their hands and less in ours.
I agree with you. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you mean you had
Jacob, it's really hard to hear you.
I'm sorry.
There we go. Thank you.
I had a complete brain fart there for a second. I mean, it's kind of like, oh, we had the most successful console of the last generation, for 5, 6,
And
7,
doesn't it feel like they like, oh, we outsold like PS3. Nobody's gonna question us because they love our console. Isn't that like how like they went about it? Like how it felt?
That's exactly how it felt, and
And
I
the
was like,
gamer
are
was
you
like,
kidding?
no, fuck you, I'm not bending over.
You know that one Breaking Benjamin song, "I Will Not Bow." It's called "I Will Not Bend."
I will not. I will
I will
not
not
bend.
bend. I will not lube. What?
What?
I don't know. It's gotten dark really quick. But, I mean, it's like I find it amazing where it's like a company could be so successful and do really good things for one generation, and then it's not even like a year or two time, like 2 years time, and it's like, oh, sorry, you really liked our stuff, but even though you've made us what we are, we're going to kind of go the complete opposite direction of where the company has been going for the past 13, 14 years. Even the original Xbox, people gave that console flack. Love that console. Love that console.
I actually did want an original Xbox, but it was like in 2004, and the only reason why I wanted it was for Halo 2.
Yeah.
And then like the next year they released the 360, so it's a good thing I did not get an original Xbox.
But it was such a good console. Like I love that it had in like console storage, and like the only bad thing about it was that you had to have like the remote thing to play DVDs on it. Like it could play DVDs, but it had to have like the remote hookup thing, which I thought was kind of dumb. But it didn't bother me that bad. But I thought the graphics were better than the PS2 on it, which they might have actually.
They were, in my opinion.
It might have been. I didn't own a PS2. My brother had a PS2, but he always played it, and I never.
PS2 graphics did get better over time, but where the graphics really shined on PS2 were cutscenes, which of course are more like CGI and all that.
Yeah.
So, but like gameplay itself, I feel like the Xbox had better graphics.
It did, and I loved it. Like, I had the Hulk video game based off the Ang Lee movie in 2003. That game was cool. Like, the CGI style of that game was awesome. And everything was just cool.
Was that Hulk or Hulk Ultimate Destruction?
It was Hulk.
Oh, because
Ultimate
there was
Destruction
a game...
was for the 360.
Oh, it was the Ultimate Destruction was fun.
It was.
Because you could just run rampant as Hulk and destroy everything.
Exactly. And I mean, that's kind of how it was in the other Hulk game, but it was like, you even had missions where you had to be Bruce Banner and like stealth and like knock these dudes out and go like stealth and everything. And like you couldn't get too close. We're like, hey, that guy's not a guard, It was actually kind of, it had some good, decent mechanics in it. When you were the Hulk, you got to tear crap up.
Tearing crap up? He's not a monkey or a gorilla.
You sound like King Kong. You can't tell me that doesn't sound like a monkey.
Maybe a gorilla.
It's the same.
My girlfriend's being goofy.
It sounds like she's like just being whoa. Hey, you wanna know what my girlfriend's doing? Oh wait.
You don't have one.
My Predator action figure.
What are you doing?
Would Shelby want to get in on this podcast?
She like, would you like to get in on this podcast? A little bit. She's like, a little bit. But then it would go really off topic.
It already has gone off topic.
Well, I guess. But, I mean,
we've got our point across.
Our topics, I feel like we've made our point, or our points, and I don't have much else to say about it. Like, some parts of the Xbox One original policy, were good, and then some were bad. I mean, I'm glad they changed it, but I feel like it was just not going to work out as well as it could have if America had more reliable and better internet.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, it's just, I know we agree a lot with a lot of things, but this really is something that I think a lot of people could agree with. And yeah, it's a little off topic, but it's something that people haven't really talked about in a while. But, I mean, it's definitely something that it needs to stay present because it lingers. It's lingering in the gaming world where it's like, oh, all digital, and
well, it's because all digital is creeping back up because digital sales of games are going up.
And that's cool. I mean, that's like, but at the same time, I'm one of those people. It's like I'd prefer to have a physical copy. But if it's a game that doesn't have an actual physical copy, then hey, go, whatever, fine,
well,
go ahead.
See, it's kind of scaring me because, like I said, of my situation. What if then in the future, if I'm still, hopefully not, knock on wood, but what if I'm ever in a situation like this again? But now the games are just digital. What if I can't buy a physical copy anymore? What if I have to go digital? And these games are massive, like Grand Theft Auto 5 with all of its updates is like 57 or 58 gigabytes now. The Last of Us was like 44 or 45.
Right.
I mean, Bloodborne is not near as big, but it's like 30-something gigabytes.
I think, if I remember correctly, Witcher 3 is like, was it like 35 gigs, I think I said?
I don't remember.
It's like 35 or something. And then Batman Arkham's Knight is like 50 gigs or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like huge.
Like, I don't know if these games literally are just that's completely compressed or if they're just being lazy and not compressing these games as much. You know what I mean? Which I would assume that's just how big they are, especially since they're on Blu-ray discs now and they can do so much more with the games.
Yes. Thank God for Blu-ray.
I know, right? Thank you, Blu-ray.
Thank you, Blu-ray.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I hated back in the days on Xbox 360 where, like, Dead Space 2 was 2 discs.
It actually didn't bother me too much. Like, yeah, I'd be like, oh, I gotta go put in the next disc. But, it kind of gave me a little breather for a second. It's like, oh, okay. Because L.A. Noire, like, the original edition had, like, 3 discs. And, like, the Ultimate Edition, where it had, like, 4 or 5 other missions or something like that, had 4 discs.
Oh
so, I mean, like...
gosh.
Well, dude, that game is, like, gorgeous.
Well, dude, if Xbox didn't allow PlayStation to, get a deal with Blu-ray, we wouldn't have to deal with all of the discs.
Well, Microsoft made a deal with HD DVD, but somehow HD DVD didn't like pan out the same as Blu-ray, and yet they were practically the same.
Yeah, kind of funny, huh?
It doesn't make any sense. They're pretty much the same, just different companies, and Blu-ray somehow lived in HD DVD. But yet, in rural areas like us, they still want to buy DVD. I want the DVD. It's like, no,
Blu-ray.
You have an HD TV. Make the best use of it. Most Blu-rays are about as cheap as DVDs now.
I know. Especially that. Since now the prices are so low, they're basically the same price as DVDs were when they were coming out.
Which doesn't mean like Blu-ray is going obsolete. I think the format will have to change completely for Blu-ray to go obsolete.
Well, the next Blu-rays they're going to release are going to be 4K Blu-rays.
Yeah, but that's whatever. That's whatever.
I know, but 4K still has. It's going to take quite a few more years before 4K becomes common.
Everyday thing.
With the middle class because it's still too expensive for the middle class to even afford. Like I've seen 4K televisions and 4K displays on phones.
They look
and they're
good.
Super nice and they look great. Like I can actually tell that they look better than 1080p, but like they're just. They're slightly better, and right now they're not worth the price. Once they become as cheap or as HD TVs, then I feel like it'll be more widely accepted and used.
Exactly.
Another topic to discuss about because it kind of deals with gaming is because what we use gaming on are the curved TVs. Do you think those are like a gimmick, or do you think they will take off?
I don't know if they'll ever take off just because they're so ridiculously expensive. However,
goofy looking. They're cool, but like
going into Best Buy and looking at that thing, it's oh my god, I just want one.
Dude, I think last time I was in there, I was with Greg, and they had like a 70 or 78 inch curved TV, and it was a Samsung, and we were just like gawking at this thing.
I thought,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like you can literally see it from any angle.
Yeah,
And
and
it
see,
all
I
looks
actually
the same.
stood and looked at it from an angle, not standing right in front of it, and I could still see what was on the screen, like, fine. Like, I didn't think it would be, because, like, I felt like sitting right in the middle of it, like any TV, it would be the best picture, but the curve doesn't mess with sitting at an angle, which I thought it would.
It doesn't, and it's kind of awesome. It's awesome. I like. I've been in that situation. She was like, "Are these curved TVs for real?" And like, I would look at it, and it's like, "Oh my god, they are for real." Look at that city. Look at that light. It's like a plasma LCD and an LED had like a baby.
And then that baby dominated them.
It did. Because plasma kills with the refresh rate and the contrast, and then LCD kills with just how from all the different angles, and then LED just kills it with the thinness and the smoothness sometimes. So I feel like that's what the curved TV is. It's like a mix of plasma, LCD, and LED, the best of all three.
Yeah.
But
Pretty much.
I'll never own one unless I become a billionaire or even a millionaire, which ain't gonna happen.
If only. If only.
If only.
All right.
I feel like Hades and Hercules.
That was a little creepy, but I think I'm about done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to add to. We just kind of went from like talking about Xbox One and Blu-rays and curved TVs, man.
Well, that's how it's done. That's how it's done.
That's how
We're showing people it's done. Yeah, I'm a man. I mean, anyway, you can find us on Twitter at GamerBullshit with the I's and underscore, and we're also on YouTube, Twitch, and Shout Engine.
Shout. You know you make
because
me
that's
wanna
where we
shout.
upload our audio versions of the podcast for downloading. And we're on iTunes. I always forget that as a free download. And yeah, or you can watch us on YouTube because Jacob uploads the podcast to YouTube for people who are just like on YouTube and find us. And if they don't want to download the podcast, they can just go there and listen to us while doing whatever on their computer.
You know you make me wanna shout, rip my head of itself, the head of it.